how beautiful. This is looking pretty nice. Good morning, traders. Welcome back for another live streaming session. So roughly about 10 minutes before the London open. So we're about 7:50 a.m. 10 minutes before London session starts going. I'm on the GBP USD. We've seen pretty nice push into the upside, and we just see that continuation. We're now in a bit of a consolidating state at this point in time, and I think we kind of do need a pullback. I am looking for those long opportunities, but I think we're in that kind of really annoying time where you don't really want to be trading consolidating markets. But my gut feeling is telling me that we're in for a little bit of a pullback. And so I think during the London session, we're going to see the price falling back into this hourly demand zone, collecting whatever liquidity might be resting below these lows, and then pushing up. So what I'm actually going to try and do, or we could even be dropping a little bit further, we could be going toward this previous low, one of these previous lows down here as well, before pushing into the upside. So what I've got marked out here is I'm only going to give it a try. I'm not putting huge stakes on this trade today, but if we do cross or we do break market structure into the downside just below this previous low, then I'll likely enter into a position today. So we'll just be waiting around mostly we're about 10 more minutes until London session starts opening up, and then we can hopefully see a little bit of volatility moving toward our price points today. But it's just been absolutely phenomenal over the last couple of days. We have seen GBP just pushing up so beautifully. I mean, any of you guys who are trendline traders, you might be waiting for the price to retrace back towards the trend line, and you could actually even analyze it from this section. I personally don't think that's going to happen, but you know, if that's what you're aiming for, and we are changing character and we are pushing now into the downside, then actually I would start looking at this region as my potential targets for those shorts. So we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. Right now we are trending up, so we should be looking for those long positions, not so much those shorting positions. So we'll keep that in mind throughout today. All right. Heading over to Euro USD, again, I somewhat anticipated a bit of a pullback. We have seen the market push up, come back down, push up, and come down again, breaking market structure. And we like this pattern. This pattern tells us that we are now going to be looking for that short, or we can confirm that we are now pushing down a little bit lower. So I actually entered into this position earlier today, and I am just waiting now for that to come to fruition, hitting our target before then looking for overall long opportunities. Okay, so I'm just going to wait, and we'll come back to that in just a moment. We can head over to USD JPY. Yeah, I think it's starting to play out exactly how we want it to. I think, again, it's pulling back just a little bit before it pushes up even more aggressively into the upside. So again, we're just going to wait to see how the market reacts when London session opens. I'm hoping there's going to be an initial push on the DXY into the upside. And what we could hopefully we'll see, although, I mean, we're on the 4-hour time frame, what we could hopefully see is this really nice push up, breaking market structure, and then a really beautiful price action candle pushing the DXY into the downside. And then that's just going to push all of our major currency pairs upward. We are bearish on DXY these days. We can see quite a lot of strain on the US dollar. So we are certainly hoping that the DXY will continue pushing downward before, rather than changing character back into the upside. So hopefully that's not going to occur. although I am a little bit precarious about these sections here because we can see a really nice demand zone forming. We are starting to see that the DXY is starting to push up again, and this is a little bit of a concern for us as well. So we'll just keep an eye on that for the time being, and hopefully what we'll see today is that the DXY will push up again, and then it will get rejected from this area, and then hopefully we'll see another little breakage structure into the downside, and then we can enter into those long opportunities across all of our other major currency pairs. So I would just I'll keep my mind a little bit open for that, because what we are seeing at the moment is, yes, there is a bit of a change of character on the DXY. It is pushing up a little bit, and it has just come back to that demand zone, having that beautiful reaction to it. So let's just wait and see what happens with the London session. When the London session starts, I am hoping to see that very slow climb with that beautiful breaker structure here, and then we just see a really nice long wicked price action candle, something such as this, rejecting the DXY back into the downside. Okay, and then that will play very nicely across all of our other major currency pairs. So I'm just waiting on that at the moment. I don't really particularly trade DXY very often. We did TP last week around here. We TP'd on one of our trades over here. I've removed that markings, but we are still in a very bearish environment on the DXY. As you can quite clearly see, we're just producing substantially lower lows. We're just changing character and breaking structure all the way down. So yeah, okay, hopefully we'll see another nice little pullback to this point before continuing into the downside, or we could have already seen that pullback. Where I'm hoping DXY eventually ends up going toward is this weekly demand down here, which is this big blue box down here. This is the target. This is what I'm hoping DXY will eventually end up, and that gives us a beautiful indication as to what we should be looking for in our major currency pairs, which are long opportunities. Although yes, I am currently in a shorting opportunity on the euro dollar at the moment, just because of these beautiful long wicked price action candles, beautiful rejection. I think the euro dollar needs a little bit more of a pullback before it continues its leg into the upside. So I've entered into that position at the moment, hoping that the price will come down, grab liquidity below this previous low, and then hopefully we will TP today. Yeah, or sometime this week. Very frustratingly, I've been in a long position on GBP USD for a very long time. I've removed the markings from here, but I've been in a long position, I think, since back here, and it's just been consolidating. So actually, I exited that position because I just couldn't. I couldn't wait much longer. I think that what was meant to happen was this beautiful pullback. You see these beautiful long wick candles, and they should have just pushed back into the upside. But I exited that position because we're just in consolidation at the moment, and so it's very hard to see where the price is actually going. What I think also is going to happen with the GBP USD, very similar to the euro dollar, is we're going to have a pullback today. We're going to have a pullback, well, hopefully today and into tomorrow, a bit of a pullback before we then start seeing the signs of trend reversal and the next leg upward into the upside. Drop out to the week. We can head over. Yeah, you can see we're at a very annoying point here as well. This is very frustrating. You can just kind of see that we have we've entered a really strong area of resistance on the euro dollar, which can be very, very frustrating. Also on the weekly, we're in consolidation, and because we're on weekly consolidation, we've now entered into that very strong area of resistance. We are expecting it to push down again even further, but let's just hope DXY comes and helps us and pushes the price up even higher toward these previous highs over here. Because yeah, we have just been trending down over the last couple of weeks on the I'm on GBP USD and euro dollar, and so hopefully we're going to start getting out of this slump and start seeing the revaluation of GBP and euro over the next couple of weeks. So yeah, that's my play at the moment. I'm just waiting for those pullbacks to occur. Hopefully after those pullbacks, we'll see something on the lower frames of structural market shifts into the upside, and then we can we can look for those long opportunities. Yep. Okay, about what, 2 minutes away. I wouldn't be so upset if I get stopped out of this one today. Oh, what's very interesting is I did a little preliminary analysis of USD Swiss franc. So, yeah, I'm hoping again there's just a small pullback here. Even if we break structure, I'll probably enter into position anyway, and we'll be targeting some of the areas up here as our TP. So I am hoping that we are going to see quite a powerful pullback or push up um, into the upside on the Swiss franc, which I think would be very, very good. The reason for that is just because it needs a bit of a correction. We've just seen this absolute aggressive move, and I think we need a much stronger correction back more toward the zero point 0.7 Fibonacci retracement. And so I'm looking for those long opportunities on the USD Swiss franc at the moment. AUD NZD, I had literally entered this position about an hour or 2 hours ago in the hopes that we were going to push up higher, and we did. So it's a shame you guys didn't see that. So yeah, I entered into this position because we saw that inflation in the Australian market came out much stronger than expected. And that often signals that the Bank of Australia will likely raise interest rates, and so those interest rates is likely valuing the Aussie dollar. Saw that in right. Okay, so I'll leave that up just for the time being, because I think what we're doing on AUD NZD is we're likely going to see a continuation back up to one of these supply zones before we then see a reaction. And that reaction will look something such as this, where we'll probably come back down to one of these areas down here before that continuation into the upside. Okay, so yeah, we're going to be looking for those longs. We'll keep those longs all the way up until that supply zone. Then we'll look for the pullback. Trade the pullback, and then on the lower frames, on the lower time frames, we can then look for another long and targeting these highs up here, okay, on AUD NZD. Honestly, AUD NZD plays very nicely into technical analysis. I've never had such a bad run with AUD NZD, but these beautiful setups, they don't come around so often, right? So I can't trade it, every single day. But yeah, I've had some pretty nice luck with AUD NZD quite recently, which has been very, very good. All right, DXY, you need to be going up, not down. Ugh, so very frustrating. All right, yeah, so hopefully we're going to just see that nice little push up on the DXY, and hopefully that brings all of our major currency pairs into the downside. But yeah, that's generally what I'm looking at for today. Any BTC or any crypto holders? Oh, I'll head over to XAU because that's not looking very good, is it? Oh, I just took a shot in the dark here today. I saw that we were just breaking structure up. It came back down, and this was supposed to be a failure. It was supposed to fail. That breaker structure was supposed to fail, but it actually broke structure, so we could be looking at a shorting position, not a long position on XAU USD. But I was expecting that the price would not cross the 200 EMA, so that's not very good. But I'll keep this position open just for the time being, and that's all part of trading. Getting stopped out occasionally, but took a bit of a shot in the dark. I think XAU needed to push up a little bit more on the time frame. It seems like a lot of the markets are just consolidating at the moment. They're the worst times to be trading. Beautiful, beautiful pushes into the upside. Playing very, very nicely. Now we're just in consolidating markets. Absolutely horrible time to be trading. Okay, BTC USDT. The Clarity Act came out in the US, I think, or they're discussing it, which is basically an added extra layer of authenticity for cryptocurrencies in a way. That's the way I perceive it. And so we've just seen this beautiful spike into the upside toward the $80,000 mark, which, by the way, guys, I'm not gonna lie, I've been saying I would not be surprised if we hit the $80,000 mark sometime this year. And it seemed like August was the month of this year that we were going to hit that 80,000. So it's quite obvious that we're now changing trend. We're now moving into the upside on BTC USDT. I would now be looking for those long, or you should have been looking for those long opportunities back down here when we were discussing them. And remember, we were having that chat. I don't know why this light keeps turning green. So I think someone has control of my light. Um, Remember, we were having that discussion where, okay, BTC had fallen off this cliff. It had just been pushing all the way down, and then we were trying to find where that uh, beautiful level of support is, and we found this to be a very crucial level of support for BTC, and we are now seeing that all playing out. So guys, any of you, I remember I don't trade. I do invest in BTC, but I don't particularly trade it. We were waiting for that, and luckily the Clarity Act came out, and that's basically a fundamental part of cryptocurrency trading. And so we have now seen that beautiful surge into the upside, right? So anyone that was had entered into those positions on your prop accounts, congratulations, you must be feeling very happy. Yeah. Let's head over here. Okay, so we're about 5 minutes into the London session. I'm still on the week. Oh, just consolidating markets at the moment, guys. Yeah, I'm hoping for a pullback to occur on the 4-hour frames on the GBP Euro. USD, I'm expecting, yep, similarly, a pullback, which we are seeing at this point in time. So once that pullback occurs, I'll be looking then for a long opportunity on USD JPY because we know the Japanese yen is likely going to remain devaluing um, over the next couple of weeks. USD Swiss franc, similar style to what I'm looking at with the USD JPY. I'm waiting for that push down. The reason why is, yeah, fine. You could take this as, okay, we've clearly changed character and we're now moving into the downside, but this is manipulation. Sorry, I mean intervention. So this is intervention stuff here, and that was largely brought on between the Japanese yen and the US dollar. So I think that's a fake out, massive, massive fake out, and we are just seeing that beautiful, nice like climb back into the upside. So that's why I'm looking for long opportunities on USD Swiss franc. I'm just waiting for a little bit more of a pullback, a little bit more confirmation to then enter into a position. Once we see that confirmation, hopefully we'll be able to enter from this area down here. We can then target these previous highs up here. Okay, so that's what we're looking for on USD Swiss franc. Looking for those long opportunities, but just waiting to see whether or not we get a breaker structure over here or we get a beautiful pullback over here. Okay, so that's what we're waiting for on USDC on the USD CHF. AUD NZD already TP'd, guys. Very sorry y'all didn't see that. Yeah, the what's it called? Royal Bank of Australia, ROB, ROJ, RIA. Sorry, guys, I forgot the name of the bank. Anyway, the Central Bank of Australia, what they just announced that inflation was pretty high. I think it came out at about 3.3 or 3.4%. I could be wrong, but it's much higher than expected, and because of that, we would then expect the central bank to raise interest rates, and so that's what we're seeing at the moment. RBA, sorry, it's the RBA. Yeah, Royal Bank of Australia, RBA. They are likely going to increase interest rates to try and bring that inflation rate down. So at this point in time, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to enter into any positions here. I'm generally just waiting. If I were to look at something, if I were to look at something, I would likely be waiting for a pullback. We might see something come back down into toward the 0.5 fib, which for any of you FVG traders falls very nicely into an FVG location. So that would be roughly where I would be waiting for the price to retrace back to. And then I would start to look for another long position. So I'm just waiting now. I TP'd already on AUD and ZD today. And so there is no need for me to look at entering into another trade on this currency pair just for today. I'll just generally be waiting. Like I'd expect there to be a pretty nice little reaction. I expect there to be a bit of a pullback on this pair today. So if you guys are looking for those shorting opportunities, I completely understand if you're going to trade those pullbacks, but we're certainly not going to be continuing into the downside. We're just going to have a pretty nice pullback, and then likely a continuation into the upside. On AUD and ZD. USD CAD. Oh, yeah. So quite a lot of interesting information coming out on USD CAD at the moment. Obviously, I believe the Canadian dollar is most likely going to struggle against the US dollar. Obviously, because it's not a global reserve currency, but they're pretty much tied into a bit of a trade war, and I think that's going to play more harsh on the Canadian dollar than it would on the US dollar. And so we're looking for long opportunities on the USD CAD. So we are likely going to see a strengthening of the US dollar against the CAD. And that is why I'm in this position at the moment. I also expect a bit of a pullback, which we have seen. I'm on the hourly time frame. We can zoom out to the 4 hourly, but we won't see much here. I think that was a really beautiful pullback, very nice rejection on the 4 hour frame because of this very long wicked candle there. And then if we drop down to the hourly, I generally just see that it might come down just maybe a little bit more, or we might have already seen it with this wick down here just touching the 200 EMA, and now we're just going to be pushing up. And this mixes very nicely with the fundamentals that we're seeing. Also with the USD CAD, we have just seen this beautiful push into the upside. Over the last 2 days, we have seen the pullback, so that's a very strong pullback. Beautiful breaks of structure into the upside. If it was going to pull back, maybe it'll come back down to here, and this will be a very strong area of support before and then that continuation into the upside. Okay, so we're looking for longs on USD CAD. It's the signals are there in the technical analysis and the fundamentals. Okay, so. Yeah, I think we're going to see that continuation all the way back up to one of these previous highs over here, where we will then see another pullback. And then again, we will just reevaluate what's happening in terms of the fundamentals. We'll take a step back and take a look at the technicals. Cam wrote when to buy BTC. Well, well, if you were on the live stream last week, that would have been a pretty good time to buy BTC. Generally, if we're looking at entering into these positions at this point in time, you might not see as good as returns as you would have seen over here. However, like I said, that Clarity Act is a very good indication that BTC or the crypto industry is going to now start a bull run. Which I'm hoping is going to occur and continue. But if we analyze here on, let's drop to the 4 hour. We'll head to the 4 hour one. So we can quite clearly see that we have some beautiful breaks of structure, broke structure here. We get a change of character here, continuation into the upside. We can see liquidity had been taken from these previous lows here. We are now seeing liquidity had been taken from here. So we're seeing very nice rejection candles at the moment. What we could end up seeing is something that happens such as this, right? And then this area here is a very strong area of support. So potentially putting your stop loss just below this this level here. And then you'll be looking at potentially one of these old supply zones up here toward the 88. I wouldn't go that far. Maybe like toward the $86,000 mark. So if you are trading BTC at the moment, this would be the general trade I would be looking at doing, which will be something such as this. I'll be putting my stop loss below this previous support, this support zone here, and I would be targeting the highs up here. I might actually extend my stop just a little bit to a 2.5. Yeah, I'll be looking at doing something like this, right? But I wouldn't enter that just so impulsively because we're on the 4-hour frame. That'll be just generally what I'll be looking for. But what we could also do is we could drop down just a little bit more. Yeah, yeah, we could see that again coming down to here, coming down to here. We could be seeing that. Or if we see the price break above here with a full body break, so a full candle break, then that would be give me very strong confirmation to then enter into this position. That would be basically how I play it. Because we generally we are seeing the early signs of the bull run now happening across the crypto industry, which is incredibly valuable, which is incredibly good news, especially for all of you investors in crypto. This is a very, very good good bit of news. So we are hoping to see that continuation into the upside. So that would be kind of the position that I would go off of based on technical analysis alone, mixed in with a bit of those fundamentals, which is the Clarity Act that came out. That would be my take on trading BTC USDT at the moment. What we'll do, we'll head back to GBP USD. That was the previous hour. It has clearly come back into that demand zone, which is this blue box here. Yeah, I'd generally be looking at doing something like this, perhaps on the lower time frames. Let's drop down to the 15-minute frames. I don't really trade 15-minute frames, but that would be the most ideal. Oh my gosh, that's a terrible entry, isn't it? I wish I saw this a little bit sooner. Drop down to the 5-minute frames. Oh, that's a terrible entry, but you know, yeah, I'll generally be expecting GBP to kind of go back toward this level throughout the London session, because London session is more of a manipulative session. We are likely going to see that push up, fail, and then come back down. That's what I'm expecting to see on GBP USD. As I said earlier, guys, we're in consolidating markets at the moment, and you know we can confirm that on the higher time frames. We're just consolidating. What I'm waiting to happen is just to see a potential pullback, taking out whatever liquidity is being generated within this 4-hourly demand zone. We could go a little bit lower, but I'm waiting. I don't really want to enter into a short or a long on the higher time frames. I'm more of a swing trader. Trading supply and demand zone trading. So if any of you guys are supply and demand zone traders, then this is what I'm waiting for. So I probably wouldn't enter into the market until I've seen this. I hate consolidation. Consolidation is the absolute worst in trading. So euro dollar, it's unfortunate. Yeah, I entered into this position just before this live stream. We are now seeing that we're heading toward the getting stopped out. Perfectly fine, but the reason why I had entered into this position is on the 4-hour frame. We saw that beautiful push up. We saw that push back down. Nice support here. It came back up, and even though it says equal high, it's not really that equal of a high. And we saw that it failed to go high. We saw that it failed to produce a full body candle above this previous high. And because of that, we then saw the price come down, breaking market structure. So it broke market structure here, and then it just failed to create a new higher high. Just broke market structure. Failed to break a new higher. And now we're in a bit of consolidation, and we're seeing that come up again. And I think that that was a liquidity grab on the 4-hour frame, and we should go down a little bit more, right? So that's the reason I entered into that position. So if you can't explain the reasons why you entered into a position, then you should have entered into that position. That's a big bit of advice that I often give. But that's the reason why I entered into that. I think there needs to be a pullback on the Euro USD, especially after this huge run into the upside. You can kind of see, yeah, I think this was last week, right? Yeah, last week, put this down here that we were likely going to continue into the upside, and we saw that, which is absolutely wonderful. I'll drop down to the 15-minutely. Yeah, we might, hopefully, where this dotted yellow line is, hopefully we're going to see the price get rejected there, and then it will eventually go toward my target. If not, and it continually comes up, then that's it. You know, you take losses in trading, and more than happy to show that to you guys. All right. Heading over to the USD JPY, we are seeing that initial pullback, which is good. Just on the 4-hour frames, man. It's, yeah, I know it's a slow grind, very slow process, but you know, patience is incredibly important in trading. Yeah, maybe we've already seen the pullback. That's what I'm looking at here. What I'm looking at is this here. You see this low where I've just drawn the circle? There we have seen price go below that low, and we have seen this beautiful rejection candle. It is getting rejected here, so I would be a little bit concerned. What I'll generally wait for is maybe something like this, pull back and go up. Only if I see a breaker structure there will I enter. Breaker structure here maybe. This is just a waiting game at the moment, guys. I'm not playing with these currencies. Besides, anyway, quite recently I've not really wanted to trade USD JPY, especially after the intervention. Absolutely, you know, it's basically gambling in a way, right? Because the Bank of Japan often steps in and just manipulates or intervenes and just stops you out, and you're just left there with a broken prop account, and you know, even though your trade was likely going to play out, because um, we are seeing the devaluation of USD JPY. We should be looking for long positions, but look at what that intervention did. Look at that on my screen right now. You can just see that drastic drop in the price, and now we're just seeing the price returning back toward where it was before that intervention. So yeah, I'm looking for longs, even though a lot of the technical analysis is saying that you should be looking for shorts, but I'm only looking for longs because the intervention was pretty much a fake out. Very similar to the USD Swiss franc. That's why we've entered into a long position, or at least we're waiting to enter into a long position on the Swiss franc. Sorry, the USD Swiss franc. Because of that intervention. You just see that intervention. Fundamentally, this is just absolutely ridiculous. And then when you look at the technicals pushing back into the upside, you start to see that, okay, yeah, we should be looking for those long opportunities. So I'm just waiting at the moment on that, waiting for another bit of a pullback here. Once we see that pullback, and I've set an alarm here, I would then likely enter into a long position from that zone. AUD NZD, we've already gone through this. TP just before here. Now I would generally expect a bit of a pullback. Maybe it will push up again to toward the supply zone, but I'm generally thinking that the price needs to return to roughly around this region around here. So I'm just going to wait and see what this currency pair does before I enter into a new position on that. XAU, oh, how painful. Yeah, this was more of a shot in the dark, guys. I must admit. The reason why I entered here is because we got break, and then we see this, because of this break here, we expected that the price would come back into this region, and it did. Pushed up. Unfortunately, it did fail. I should have looked at that a little bit closer. And now we're seeing a bit of a rejection candle here, which is pretty good. So, okay, if we break structure here, then, okay, I'm pretty confident. Yeah, if we break below here, then, yeah, I'll likely get stopped out, and I'll just generally wait and reanalyze XAU USD. That's a mistake on my side. I should not have entered into that position, so shot hit in the dark there. Yeah, we'll just wait and see what happens with gold USD. Of course, it would be fantastic to have a scalper join me with these live streams so that we can take a look at his or her scalping the XAU USD, because I'm a swing trader. So, you know, it would be fantastic to see these guys joining the live stream, and we can take a look at their strategy. Let's take a look. How strange. All right, yeah, not looking so good on our gold position today, but that's okay. That's what happens. NDQ. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I know quite a lot of you guys likely do not trade the Nasdaq 100, but I think it's phenomenal to watch occasionally to see what the this market is doing. It's also a bit, consolidation. We are seeing a bit of a downtrend happening at the moment on NDQ 100. So I would be a little bit precarious if you guys are investing. Although to be fair, if the stock market is going down, hopefully we'll see bond prices increasing, not decreasing. So if we look at the 2-year yields, no, not the 2 years, the 2-year futures, oh, they're going down. Interesting. Although we are on daily, so we are. Oh gosh, look at the amount of volume being put into the bond market on the 2-year, which is pretty interesting. So that should value the DXY. That should actually prop the DXY into the upside. Doesn't seem as though it's transferring very nicely onto the DXY, but we can only just wait and see what happens over the next couple of days. USD CAD. Very nice rejection. Very nice rejection here. Yeah, I'm quite confident that this is likely going to push into the upside. Pretty confident with that position. Hopefully we'll see that continuation. And TP. Bit slow today. I would imagine with a lot of this news around trade in the US, I would imagine that we would be seeing quite a substantial amount of volatility today, but I guess we're not. We're not seeing that volatility. Yeah, USD CAD. Like I said, I'm pretty confident that we're going to see that push into the upside, and hopefully we'll TP a little bit later from this position. Pretty confident with this one. AUD USD, I've not done any analysis on AUD to USD, although I'd imagine that would be pushing into the upside quite nicely. So this is done, by the way. This one we TP'd, which is pretty good, and I'll remove that a little bit later after this stream. We could see those early signs of that pull back down to roughly around here, like we usually see these areas here be very nice regions for firstly targets in price if you're shorting, and nice little reversal areas if need be, right? So yeah, we'll likely see something like that today on the lower time frames on AUD NZD, but overall I think we're going to see a pretty nice pullback to roughly around this area or even deeper, just because of that absolute surge, that huge push into the upside, and that usually is followed by a bit of a correction before it continues into the upside. So that's my general analysis there. Euro dollar. Oh no, might be getting stopped out on the euro dollar today as well. However, I did mention earlier that we. Oh my gosh, why is all these things moving? There we go. We might see the price retrace back toward that dotted line before continuing into the downside. That would be generally what I'll be waiting for. At the moment, hopefully I TP a bit later. Might be a bit concerned though. Maybe we'll see. We'll see what happens when it gets down to roughly here. We'll see what happens when it gets down to here. Because, if we start to see a lot of strain and rejection around this area, I might just exit that trade. Because of this previous low here. It could, dip just a little bit and then reverse. Maybe it won't hit my target. I don't think it will hit my target then. We'll see. We'll wait and see. We'll see what happens. Hopefully we don't get stopped out. Hopefully we exit this position as a take profit trade. Similarly with GBP USD, I was actually expecting this on the lower frames yet. On the lower frames to I've not been stopped out, by the way. This is just a horrible trade. This is just a really horrible entry. Um, I'm just expecting it to push back up toward this previous supply zone on the 15-minute to give a little bit of excitement to you guys. I know quite a lot of the time my trading strategy is very slow because of supply and demand zone trading. So hopefully we'll see something happening on the 15-minute frame during the London session. If not, at least you guys know generally where the price is supposed to be going based off these technical analysis, um, especially across our major currency pairs. Really come to terms with trading the euro dollar for quite a long period of time. I was kind of against it, you know. I just didn't really enjoy trading the euro dollar, but then I realized trading the GBP USD, the GU, is the worst to analyze. Out of everything that I've ever analyzed, the GU is the worst. JPY is the most manipulated. That's 100% given. Like all of this year, I think they've done it 3 or 4 times now. That's the most manipulated currency pair. But the hardest one to trade, I find, is the British pound. That one is just frustrating. The easiest one to trade is AUD NZD. Absolutely love trading Australian dollar to New Zealand dollar. Absolutely love it. I rarely trade gold and BTC, but you know I do generally analyze and keep my eyes on it. I know a lot of you guys are trading XAU, so when we do bring in a scalper, I'm really hoping we'll get a scalper who focuses on gold for you guys. Solana and Ethereum. Hopefully they'll also take a look at that for you guys as well. I just look at the big one, which is the BTC USDT, and as we all know, BTC is hopefully re-entering a bull market, a bull run, which is really, really good for all other cryptocurrency pairs across the board. So if you guys have a pretty big portfolio of cryptocurrencies, then you should be pretty happy these days. We are hopefully going to return to the bull runs and maybe even possibly hit new all-time highs. Now, I knew, like I said, I wasn't going to be surprised that BTC would approach the $80,000 mark, but I would be really surprised if we hit any new all-time highs this year. I don't think we're going to see any all-time highs on cryptocurrencies this year, but again, that's debatable. We'll keep monitoring and hopefully we'll see, which would be absolutely fantastic. This is absolutely frustrating. Look at this. So whenever you trade, honestly, entering into these trades, it's like when you watch it, it's like it's just trying to find where your stop is. You know, it just goes up, just it's not there. Okay, it will come back down, and then it will try and continue toward where your stop is, and then it reverses. Oh, it happens all the time. It's a very, very frustrating part of trading. All right, look, see, it's just, you know, oh, you entered here. Okay, well, let me just go all the way back up here and see what happens, and then I'll go and hit your TP. Um, yeah, hopefully we don't see that happening. Although, damn, look at that beautiful change of character here. Beautiful little supply zone opened up around here. There's a lot of descending high liquidity areas on the 15-minute frames. I'm analyzing it as if I was analyzing a higher time frame. So maybe we'll see these being those beautiful areas where doo-doo, 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 stopped out and then hit the TP. This is why I don't really trade much on the lower time frames. Mainly because I don't have the time. It's mainly because I don't have the time. My trading strategy just fits around my schedule, you know, working and analysis. So I find supply and demand trading a lot less time consuming than scalping, because scalping you just need to be looking at your monitor constantly. I did say in the last live stream that I do want to start bringing out some stuff around order flow, and I think you guys are really gonna love order flow data and information. Like once we bring that out, and I know a lot of you guys are scalping, and then you learn how to read order flow, then I have a feeling that your entries and your exits are just going to get so much more accurate after reading order flow data. I personally don't use it that much, so I'm actually putting some stuff together that we're going to release to teach you guys, on reading order flow. And I think it's just super helpful. I see quite a lot of traders, especially scalpers, using order flow for their entries and their exit points. So really, really hoping to get some of that stuff out for you guys. Um, all right. So anyway, hopefully I don't get stopped out on the live stream because that's always so annoying and very embarrassing. Um, but it's part of trading, so it's fine. But you know my position at the moment on a lot of our major currency pairs. I'm expecting that continuation, not that continuation, but that pullback. We might have already seen that pullback. Frustratingly, that could have been the pullback there, and now we're just gonna start begin seeing that climb back into the upside. I'm not gonna lie, if I do get stopped out and we break this market structure with a full body market break, then we are looking for those long opportunities, and I'll probably enter into that long, which plays very nicely with the trend. The trend is your friend. Always follow the trend, unless you're like me and I tried to try to trade everything. The trend, the pullback, the consolidation. This is why you get those favorite currency pairs. You get those really beautiful setups that you have to really wait for, because sometimes you need to just wait for the pullback to be over, or you need to wait for that consolidation to be finished before you can then enter into a position, right? So, yeah, that is my take at the moment on euro dollar and pretty much most of the major currency pairs. It would be really great to see that TP. By the way, that's not real. I entered in a really horrible position for you guys earlier on this live stream, so you can kind of see here. That was the entry. So we've not been stopped out, don't worry. I'll pull that over to this candle. There we go. Yeah, hopefully we'll just continually climb toward the supply zone on the 15-minute frame, get TP'd. I wouldn't, it's 0.8. It's not really that big money, really. That's why I don't trade on the lower frames. USD JPY, have we seen that pullback yet? We are still waiting on that pullback. Hold on. Again, absolutely hate trading USD JPY, mainly because of the manipulation. It's absolutely phenomenally, incredible that they're able to do to get away with that. We might have seen the pullback here already. Again, I'll generally just be waiting here. If we see a really nice breaker structure of this high here, and then yep, fine, I'll enter into that a long opportunity targeting this previous high up here. Today's more of a waiting game at the moment across these currency pairs. USD CAD though, I am very bullish on, because I think the Canadian dollar is likely going to have a little bit of a struggle against the US dollar, mainly because of those trade talks. And I think the US is in a better position than Canada at the moment. So technicals are saying go long, and fundamentals are saying go long. So I'm going long, right? That's the reason why. That is the reason why. AUD, NZD, yep, nice. We're starting to see that pullback now, which is really cool. Very cool that from the beginning of the London session, we saw price up here. We mentioned that, okay, price is going to come back a little bit. This is likely where we're going to see the next reaction on the 15-minute frame. So if you guys are trading on the lower time frames, then we're likely going to see a nice little pullback again into the upside after entering into this box. And so that would be my general play. But just keep in mind, guys, I'm still, I think there needs to be a little bit more of a pullback. We'll drop back out to the 4-hour. Yeah, there's not, because we've already TP'd and we've already hit this supply zone. We can quite clearly see liquidity is taken here. So what I'm a little bit scared of is that, because look at that big bullish Marubozu candle into the upside. By the way, the reason why AUD has gone up today is because the inflation data came out much higher than expected, and this is going to hopefully prompt the Bank of Australia to raise interest rates, and that's what we're seeing at the moment. right? So I think there needs to be a bit of a pullback before we continue into the upside. But I am looking for those longs, and we've already TP'd today. So I'm just waiting here. I'm just waiting. I don't want to enter into a position until I've seen either a pullback or a break in this high. And we're on the 4-hour frame, so that's going to take quite a bit of time. What do you do to stop yourself from entering a trade? Waiting is hard. I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. It's super hard. The thing that it's not about stopping myself. It's more about throughout the years of me trading, I didn't stop myself, and I lost and blew a lot of my accounts and lost a lot of my money. And so it is that's kind of instilled into me that, okay, if I enter into this trade, let's say for example, I think I'm losing on XAU. I didn't analyze this correctly, by the way, guys. So that's, and I already explained that earlier on this live stream, the reason why I entered in here and why I was wrong. So unfortunately, fine, I entered into this trade out of a bit of impulsiveness earlier on. And the reason what stops me from usually entering into a trade is if it's a bad trade. That's it. It's as simple as that. So like, I mean, if you have a trading strategy and let's say, for example, you're a supply and demand trader, and let's say we can actually use this as a beautiful example because this blue box here is a area of demand. If the price is pushing up and we can quite clearly see it's breaking structures, breaking structures, breaking structures, beautiful. And what we're waiting for is price to then re-enter into our demand zone, right? Which is this yellow box here. And let's say if I entered into a long position from here and then I get stopped out, I'm not following my strategy, right? My strategy is to wait for either liquidity to get taken or price to re-enter a key area of demand or supply. And so if I had waited, so if I had generally waited for it to then re-enter into my demand zone, which, okay, we can kind of say here, we can kind of say here, then, okay, then I took a long position, right? Depending on whatever it is. I'm on the hour frame at the moment. So if you wanted to take maybe a position such as this, a 1 to 2, 1 to 1.5 risk to reward ratio, you wouldn't feel so upset if you get stopped out. So what stops me is my strategy. That's what stops me. Waiting does suck. Waiting is really hard, but your strategy needs to be your North Star. It needs to be your it needs to be your shackles, you know? It's got to be like, okay, if this hasn't occurred, you should not have entered. The reason I entered into this is because I saw a beautiful, it was trending very beautiful, beautiful breaks of structure, beautiful. It re-entered into that demand zone. It had taken whatever liquidity that was resting. So I'm assuming we're going to see a really nice pullback toward this area, which we did, but we did not see a break of structure here. So that's on me. And I'd already entered. And I usually try to write it out because, to be honest, a one to the lot size that I put on my trades aren't usually that large because I'm not a scalper. So I'm usually just going to probably lose about $100, $150 on this trade, which is fine. It's prop trading account. You know, so it's not too bad. And besides, I don't really trade XAU so much. But anyway, hopefully that helps answer your question. Then back to GBP USD, that is not looking good at all. By the way, this was just a reference. I didn't actually enter into this position. Just saying, guys. I'll keep it there because I don't want to be the guy who just like put something randomly there and, you know. What I was expecting to see happen on the 15-minute frame is the price to obviously re-enter the supply zone, and then we see the sell-off. So a little bit embarrassing, but I'll leave it there for now. Euro USD is also not looking good. I've got to admit, a lot of my entries today are not looking good. Right, and the reason I entered into the euro dollar is because we saw this beautiful push up, come back down to this key area of supply. It then tried to push up and it failed to break the market structure with a full body candle break. This is very important. And we see the two kings. So it's a double top. and that is usually a bearish signal. It came here, and we saw beautiful reaction again here, but it didn't even make it halfway toward that previous high. And then we saw it break structure into the downside. So this tells me we should be looking for shorting opportunities, right? Luckily, we've not seen a break of structure above this previous high. And then we just saw this consolidation. We saw a really nice long wick candle here. And that's why I entered into this position, okay? So even if I get stopped out, I will not be upset. I mean, it would suck, but I won't be too upset because I follow my strategy. That's my general strategy. To be fair, though, we are in an uptrend, so you should be looking for longs. Don't do what I'm doing, which is trading the pullback. I like trading pullbacks, as well as trading with the trend. Okay, so right now we're going against the trend by trading the pullback. But I honestly, I don't know why. I just find pullback trading just to be so much more fun for myself, because you can just generally see, and I love this structure. Love seeing the structures come up, come up, come up, come down, structure shift, go short. Love that structure. In my opinion, it works relatively pretty nice most of the time. Anyway, if we do get stopped out and we see a break of structure into the upside, then that might be telling me that the pullback is finished, and we're going to continue into the upside on the euro dollar, and then this would be the trade that I enter. Okay. So that's what I'm waiting for at the moment, to either TP. Hopefully we TP. Although I might actually exit a little bit sooner. I might exit around here. I might put TP a little bit too far down, but I'll probably exit around here if we do TP. And this might then, on the lower frame, so potentially on the hour frames, I'll look for those changes of character and breaks of structure, and then I'll enter into a long position. We want to go long on our major pairs, right? I think a lot of you guys, if you looked at some of my academy lessons, you would understand why we're looking for longs, because if you just look at this, we can see we're producing a lot of higher highs and high lows. We are trading above the 200 EMA, and these days it's not looking good fundamentally for the US dollar. So US dollar should be weakening. Technicals are telling us to go long. Fundamentals are telling us to go long. So we should be going long, right? It's just I quite like trading the pullbacks because they're quite easy to see sometimes. Look at this. You see a week's liquidity. You see what on the daily time frame. This was the previous high over here. And then we saw the price come up here. And just look at that rejection. And that tells us, okay, liquidity is being taken right now. So we're going to see a pullback from this area. And that's why I trade the pullbacks. I like to, it's very fun to identify those pullbacks. I was expecting the pullback to be a little bit more deeper, but we'll keep monitoring that, especially on the 4-hour time frame, right? So, yeah, we might have seen the full pullback now, and it might just be now moving into that upside, but it's not a problem if, like I said, if we do break market structure into the upside, and we see a nice full body candle break above this high, then I'll enter into a long position. GBP, yeah, I don't really want to go back to GBP, guys, to be honest. I feel a little bit embarrassed about this one. This was a pretty embarrassing one right here. GBP USD into the upside, but it's okay. Well, like I said, I'm not going to be that guy who just puts it on and then no one, and then we just ignore it. So we'll keep looking at that just for the time being. USD CHF, USD Swiss franc. Again, I'm waiting. I've got an alert here. I'm just waiting for a pullback to occur on the USD Swiss franc. When we see that pullback occur, then I would likely enter into that position into the upside. You can kind of see what I'm looking at doing. This would be a very long position, by the way. I would enter this position and just forget it for a while. This one's likely going to take a couple of days, maybe a week or two to completely play out. But I'm just waiting for that pullback to occur before entering into that position. And then I'll be a little bit confident that I can just, set and forget this one. And I'll just leave it there for the time being. AUD, NZD, nice. So again, guys, very similar to what we saw on the euro dollar, whereby the price came up and now we're seeing this beautiful price, long wick price action candle. This is signaling that it's now just taking liquidity. That means we're going to have a bit of a pullback And we're seeing that pullback now. See, guys, look at that. It's retraced back to our box. If we drop down to the 15-minute frame, nice. It dropped back down to our box there. So there we go. That would have been your first TP if you were shorting the pullback. But again, I'm just waiting to see now what happens with AUD and ZD. But you can quite clearly see how technical analysis on AUD and ZD is so accurate sometimes. It's just, oh, it makes you feel so happy to be a trader when you see things like that. GBP is the absolute worst to trade. I hate trading GBP USD these days. Honestly, it is just like the most unpredictable market I've traded. And I started on GBP USD, by the way. That was the first Forex pair I started trading was GU. So you can imagine the amount of times I got angry. Just look at these slumping, huge slumps. We're in consolidation, but we're just slumping around. It's just such a sluggish trading pair. So again, hopefully we'll see a bit of a pullback, but then that will stop me out of that little trade there, which I've not entered. I've just left it there for you guys to take a look at. BTC, beautiful. Absolutely very, very happy with how BTC is reacting to the market these days. Very, very happy there. XAU, USD, gold, again, I've already gone through the reason why I've made a mistake here. And I'm likely to get stopped out, but I want to keep that here just so we can take a look. And then after the live stream, I'll likely go back a little bit more and do a little bit more of a preliminary analysis as to why I should not have entered into that trade. Oh dear. Very, very bad trade there today. Let's just take a look at whether... Yeah, that was a pretty bad entry, I must admit, guys. USD CAD, yep. Hopefully we're going to see that push up quite a lot today, especially when the New York session starts. I think later on into the afternoon, when the New York session starts from London time, we're going to see a very nice amount of volatility pushing the USD into the upside, or devaluing the CAD. Hopefully we're going to see that really strong push down. Push up on the USD CAD throughout the New York session. So in preparation for that, entering into this position, I think it's a pretty good entry point. Again, I'll take a look tomorrow, and I'll probably do a daily market breakdown for a lot of you guys tomorrow, so you guys can take a look at what happened in the live stream, and then I'll do another little reanalysis on the positions that I'm looking at from then on, right? Oh, what a terrible, that's embarrassing. I'm not going to look at that one. Yeah, our frame, nice breaks of structure coming up. It's being rejected. Yeah, I'm pretty confident this is going to slip back down. I'm pretty confident that's going to slip back down. Hopefully we'll see that playing out and TPing later today. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame. Look, I do know that these live streaming sessions are, we do them weekly. It's a really good opportunity for you guys as our community to, come have a chat, especially with myself. Take a look at my trading style. Have a discussion about prop trading. I know a lot of you guys out there are trading alone. So it's pretty nice to kind of just trade, listening to a live stream, contributing to a live stream. If you ever want to, you're welcome. Drop us a few comments. I'm happy to answer them. What I will do is in the future we'll try and do a few giveaways as well on our live stream. We'll try and do a little bit of a giveaway, like a couple of discount codes on some of our accounts, on our prop trading accounts, so you guys can join AIFO, become an AIFO trader. I think you guys would really enjoy that, which would be fantastic if you guys did. But we're coming a little bit. We're coming closer to the end of our live streaming session now. Been streaming now just for over an hour. I'm real sorry, guys. I mean, I'd love to stay on, with you all for another 1 or 2 hours. But unfortunately, I'm unable to. We're only doing the hour live technical analysis during the London Open. In the future, as I keep mentioning on most of my live streams, we will likely want to expand this, and we will want to try and get a couple of scalpers on for you guys to follow and interact with in the future. So I think that would be really awesome for you guys. If you guys can join that, and I'll try and get that set up for you guys. But we're likely not gonna get anyone for at least another like month or two, just so you guys know. But it is on my mind, and I will be bringing that so that you guys can enjoy watching live scalping. Just a bit of a recap. So we are looking for those long opportunities. We're waiting for those pullbacks to finish across all of our major currency pairs. Once we see those pullbacks, which is the trade I'm in at the moment, once we've seen those pullbacks, we'll then start looking for those long positions on the higher time frames. And what I'll do is tomorrow I'll do another little bit of an analysis, and I'll show you guys if we TP'd or not. And I'll do a bit of a daily market breakdown for you guys tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. I'll release that on our YouTube channels, sometime tomorrow. Anyway, guys, as I said, really would be fantastic if I could stay on and just trade with you guys for the next couple of hours. Would be really awesome as well is if we start doing a New York session, and that is in our plans. We will put a dedicated team together to do the New York live trading with you guys, but not right now. Anyway, guys, that's all I have time for today. Like I said, we're doing this every Wednesday. I do hope you all can join me for those live streams. So I'll see you all next Wednesday. Thank you so much for watching today, and good luck with your trading.